Looking for a new creative outlet? Here are 3 reasons you should try watercolor painting. Hey everyone, it's Ashley from Art Summits, and I'm going to jump right into the 3 reasons why you should try watercolor painting for your next hobby, because you can never have too many hobbies, right? So first, watercolor is a very versatile medium. I used to think that watercolors were kind of boring actually, and kind of pale and washed out, but that was before I really understood all the different ways that you can use watercolor, and I personally like a lot of bold colors and colorful artwork, and so I never really was initially drawn to watercolors. But since then, I've had the opportunity to meet and work with a ton of amazing artists from all around the world through the Watercolor Summit, and what I've realized is that there are so many different ways you can use watercolors. It really never ceases to amaze me just how beautiful and colorful watercolor paintings can be. So yes, you can paint with lighter colors, more muted colors, like in these loose florals or in this realistic giraffe, but you can also create super bold styles like this wild leopard or this colorful little bird. There's also a lot of versatility in how you can paint with watercolors. You can get really cool effects like this sunset sky by using what's called a wet in wet technique. You can paint loosely with your brush and create beautiful landscapes like this one that was done all in one color, or you can keep it more controlled like in the giraffe I showed you before, where you're using your paints and blending almost like you would with colored pencils. Before I get to my second reason, I've got a free online workshop that'll show you how to go quickly from beginner to intermediate painter in just a matter of weeks. I'll put a link for it below, and you should definitely sign up if you are excited about watercolor painting. Okay, so the second reason you should give watercolors a try is because of their affordability. If you've ever tried painting with acrylics, you know that once you pour out the paint, and it dries, you can't use it anymore. But that's not the case with watercolors. Once watercolors dry, whether it's on a plate or a palette, you can actually use water to reactivate the paint. And so it's really like there's no such thing as wasting paint when it comes to watercolors, because you can just keep reusing it after it's wet and dry and wet and dry again, and the colors stay super vibrant. That in and of itself makes watercolors affordable, but there are also many really nice brands of student grade paints that are available in really beautiful colors, either locally or online. And you can also find plenty of really great synthetic hair paintbrushes that will last you a long time. When it comes to paper, you'll want to use a thicker paper that is made for watercolor paints. There are plenty of inexpensive options, and I actually did an entirely separate video on a bunch of different types of cheap watercolor papers that are available, but this is the one area where you might want to splurge a little bit on nice quality cotton watercolor paper if you decide that you really want to get into watercolors, because the paper does make a really big difference. It really depends on the type of painting that you're doing with your watercolors, but even still you can find nice cotton watercolor paper for less than $20 a pad, so it's not like buying expensive canvases or something like that. If you want to know what tools and supplies to get for watercolor painting, I created a free watercolor supply guide, and I will link to it below. What I did was interview a bunch of really awesome artists, probably some that you already know, like Jenna Rainey and Sarah Simon and Sarah Cray and Louise DeMasi and more, and I put all of their favorite tools and supplies into this one resource, complete with shopping links. So make sure to check that out with the link below. And the final reason to try watercolor painting is because of its portability. Whether you're traveling on a plane and you can't bring any liquids, or maybe you just don't have a ton of storage space in your house, watercolors really take up a tiny amount of space, especially compared to other mediums. There are no giant tubes of paint, no large canvases, no easels. You can get by with a pad of paper, a couple of brushes, and a little tin that has some paints and some space for mixing. Just grab a cup of water or a jar of water and you are good to go. So I hope I convinced you to give watercolors a shot. They really are a beautiful medium that is perfect for anyone from beginners to advanced. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.